All right. Hello and welcome on back to some Minecraft musings, LOTI or LOTI, whichever, catches on. Basically, I am exploring and I'm about to go sleep somewhere because the sun is setting, but I'm going to try to get as far as I can. I don't like being in these forests because, oh wait, oh, I don't have a bed. Oh, crud. Oh man, I put all the beds down. No. Well, this just got more exciting. And I only have 29 torches. Man, no. This is terrible. And I definitely cannot go all the way back and get a bed at this point. I need to find sheep. I still have some daylight. But it's dark. Oh man, that was so stupid. I completely forgot that that's the whole point of like grabbing the bed to go explore. And at least I have a crafting table. I might have to fight for a night. But I am getting a lot of exploring done. Oh, this is so sketchy. Oh, and I didn't even do the... Ah! Okay, we're gonna harvest this sand. Ah! I kind of trapped a couple of them. Alright. Sea turtles. Alright, so this is my base. Oh god. Oh. I now have no more torches, so... Ah! There we go. So I'm going to try... make the best out of a bad situation. And go ahead and harvest some sand. Ha! So anyways, we were talking about online voting at the end of last episode, and the basic idea is to allow the average voter to, to vote from their email, which allows them to vote from any mobile device or computer that they're signed into their email with, as well as ensuring that it is encrypted by whatever the email encryption standard is for their particular email. I say that as I do, so I work in IT and I actually work with people to help set up multi-factor authentication to protect their emails and sensitive accounts. Oh, there we go. Sorry, sheep. I don't have my shears. Although, wait, oh shoot, as I'm saying that, I could have totally... Alright. I totally could have... Well, that's a lot of work, but I have 2 raw iron, so I could, in essence, make shears. But now at this point, plus the dogs are running around and would have killed the sheep anyway, so... Yeah. Do I feel great about it? No. Am I impartial? Mostly. Am I going to keep talking like this through the series? Nah. But I do need a drink of water. Because I'm in essence just like recording videos, eating a quick snack, doing some chores, and then repeat endlessly. Well, until bedtime, because I gotta work tomorrow, so. Aw, little baby sea turtle, did you see it? Aw. Well. Oh no. There we go. I wasn't sure if the flow of water was gonna mess with them. Or mess with the baby sea turtle. And it did. But it can swim, so now that it's in like 1 unit of deep water. Oh. You go for a swim too. Okay. Ah, there you go. It's out. Or well, I mean, now it's in the water, so it's fine. We're gonna imagine that it catches up with its mama wherever she went off to. Or is that normally sea turtles don't have their parents, I believe, right there. They just know instinctually to go to the water. So if we see another sheep, we can go that route. For now, I almost have a stack of sand, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna be enchanting my stuff soon, so all this experience is good. Normally I set up a big farming operation with some villagers doing pumpkins and melons. I have pumpkins already in this world. I got those pretty quick, and then there were even more at the village, so if I have to, but I'm already growing some at the home garden. Oh yeah, back to online voting. So basically you vote by email, you have multi-factor enabled, you understand how to, use all that. So that's going to require some training of the public, and so they can gain trust and faith in the system. They need to be able to understand the system, and that includes understanding encryption, randomly generated hashes for the voter ID, and all that is it's a made-up number or sequence of letters and numbers that is unique. There's only one of those for every voting election. That is tied to your email, so that identifies everybody's vote. Now, for the longest time, we believed that our votes needed to be anonymous. Well, the main reasons that I've found, because I've discussed this idea with many people online, on XApp mostly, but also on Facebook. And it's funny because I've had people like come in hot and like try really hard to disprove me or just to argue, and like they just believe in they know in their heart of hearts that it's very flawed, easy to manipulate, and easy to hack, which yes and no. I mean, I guess the biggest part of it is we need to break away from the concept that our vote needs to be anonymous, especially for anybody that gets vocal on social media. Like, well, at first, let's get one thing straight. A third of the country doesn't even vote. So a third of the eligible voting age citizens in the census, we take censuses, like, so we know how many citizens we have in this country. Like, I mean, give or take, like, I don't know, there might be some discrepancies, like if you had your kid born out of the hospital, but even then, like, to sign up for anything, you basically need to like get an ID for the kid, like, so birth certificate and all that. I mean, so, but anyway, so there's already methods and tools in place to prove citizenship and all that. But as far as voting, if you're vocal on social media, it's really easy to tell which way you lean, like which party. And so if there was any danger of people for who they voted for, like, I mean, let's be real, like, yeah, there was a danger for people wearing the bright red MAGA hat for like a limited time and in limited areas, and a lot of it depended on how people reacted. Now, and I'm not trying to justify it in any means. I think all violence is stupid and wasteful and shouldn't happen, especially over something as dumb as politics, which has turned into just such a game show. But basically, nobody should be afraid of somebody knowing their vote. You know, I'm pretty liberal. I've been liberal all my life. I've usually voted Democrat, but I have voted Libertarian. I don't care if people know that. I mean, that doesn't affect me one way or the other. Like, I mean, if people are upset about that, screw them. I don't want to be associating with that type of person in that type of way if they're that soft-shelled about, a vote or a political opinion. Now, in regards to specifics, and that's where like people are like losing their jobs, like, celebrating people's deaths, like, you know, like that's too far. And I think that's just like an ugly example of how our politics have like run off the rails and need to be reined back in a little bit. So, I mean, first off, banning all money in politics, like it just shouldn't exist. I mean, it shouldn't be pay to play. Like, oh, there, finally, there's a sheep right at the end of that, and I wasn't really looking, so. There it is. I don't know if I want to... Oh, there's some villagers. That sounded behind me. Come on, you prick. Oh, come on. Yeah, there's an ender pearl. Worth it. All right. Whew. So anyways, that's like part one of the whole ordeal is like, why do people even care if other people know how they voted? Now, there are situations in relationships where people are really particular about not having their significant other know who they voted for. Also, let's just go back real quick because I did not want to make sure that we don't have that little... Just to confirm, it is the same color, like I'll stop. And now it's not. It's like starting to shrink. There it is. Yep, I saw some change, so I'm not crazy. This was worth the while to come over here. In fact, let's keep going up a little bit and make absolutely sure. Actually, I would say it still needs a little... There. Yep, I even saw it change. So, okay, now that looks good. And these things are dangerous because there's enough shade to where mobs can spawn. So, even in daytime. All right, and away we go. So anyways, just the idea that a third of the country, not the world, sorry, but the world should be voting on everything anyway. We should have it, for whatever it's worth, like just have a general consensus of the entire earth and how they feel about stuff, like, and then have them discuss in front of everybody, like leaders talk to each other, because it's always like, the leaders go to each other's country and then they sit in like a board meeting type situation where they're just talking to each other and like nobody else really gets to be witness to a lot of like the more serious stuff. And they're just like, oh, take my word for it, we had a good talk. It's like, what does that accomplish? Like, the talk should be public record. Like, everything's discussed and how it's discussed should be public record. Oh, sorry, Piggy, I do need to kind of conserve these. So, anyways. And back to voting. So if you're in a relationship where you're not comfortable with your significant other knowing how you vote, you need help outside of just the voting. Now, that's not, easier said than done for, everybody, so that's not a good excuse. But we do need to move towards a society where it's not that toxic to have your politics out there. Like anybody, same with like losing your job or losing your favor at your workplace. It just shouldn't matter, like your political affiliation and all that. So, ooh. Oh god, and this is where a zombie comes and hits me off the edge. Okay. Oh, I think I heard something. And I'd still like to be a little closer to make sure I'm clearing the map. So anyways, and the other concern about that for the identity of the vote is you could buy and sell votes. So people could actually pay you and be like, oh, good job, you did that. And now for that, or like coercion or threatening the job loss, we just, simple as that, make it illegal. That's it. If you get caught doing that shenanigery, you get arrested or, you're fined. It'd be no different than someone cooking the books at a place to try to dodge taxes. Like, you're trying to lie and defraud people, for financial gain. And try to like circumnavigate the system. So, there'd be an appropriate punishment, a fine, whatever. I mean, I'd like to move away from fines. Man, I really could use an axe. Should we go punch some trees? Oh Yeah, let's punch some trees. Hurrah! So, anyways, that's one of the main concerns that people said. Now, the hacking part, the check and check again system, is how you circumnavigate that. So basically, oh, I think I heard a skeleton. But basically, the website that displays all the votes. Well, let's back up a little bit. So the hash that. What the hell was that? Oh, yeah. That poor dog's getting shot. Get out of here, skeleton. You killed the dog? Oh my god. You killed the dog. That's pretty messed up there. Alright, anyways. The dog was just trying to help me, you know? Man. Or maybe they just don't like hostile mobs. I don't know. Or maybe it shot the dog first. Either way, we need... Oh, I had that. Whoops. So I need a bed, and then I need some sticks, and then I need an axe. I need some stone. Oh, and some coal, yeah. Or we're just going to resupply real quick. All right, so the check and check again system. So if everybody's vote is displayed as a line item, not only can you check and make sure that your vote was counted, you can make sure that it was counted accurately. Every person you vote for or didn't vote for, well, I guess it'd only show the people that you voted yes on, and then just leave everything else blank. And same with the bills and propositions, yes, and then there just wouldn't be a listing for others. And that allows for somebody to go and use the Control F or the find function in their browser to get a count in real time of how many times someone's name appears on a website. So right there, you can get instant verification of somebody's status in the vote, whether they're doing good, not doing good, whatever. Oh, man. Just doing this all sloppy, but that's okay. I got a bed. I got sticks. I mean, let's get some torches. Got torches. All right. And, I mean, we might as well cook that. Well, we don't need that, actually. Oh, wait. Almost forgot what I was doing it for. Oh, wait. An axe. There. And away we go. Wait. All right, so anyways, so that's an easy way to tell who's winning and that there's zero fraud. And the only people that are allowed to vote are people with email. Now let's get into the part where what if the email was hacked? Or what if the vote was hacked? Like say it was intercepted by a person in the middle attack, or somebody intercepted the communication and then manipulated the vote. And actually, let's back up. Let's go about how it votes. So to negate the person in the middle attack for voting fraudulently. So the steps is everybody has to register an email in person with government ID. So it follows all the same guidelines as the SAVE Act is trying to do. So only citizens are registered to vote. You can purge all the roles and then have everybody with any ID like driver's license, student ID, anything that is acceptable or something. Because I heard people saying that driver's license won't be acceptable, and I find that hard to believe. If you got a driver's license, somebody knows your social security number or government ID to get that. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, and I've been wrong on stuff like that before, where I'd need to Google it, but I'm fairly certain, at least in Colorado, it was so long ago when I first got my license. Now to renew my license, I just renew it, and that just requires somebody to sign in and do that. So I could see people keeping dead people on the voter rolls. But again, if you get that found out, plus anytime a deceased person is declared deceased in this world, they are recorded somewhere as being deceased. So You know, the names, the locations, like we'll gather as much information as possible on the person to record them on this earth they are no more. So there you go, no dead people voting in elections. And that was a very big concern back in the Black Sheep days. So Chris Farley, one of the greatest comedians ever, did Black Sheep, and I got that on a two-for DVD deal from the old Walmarts. I got Tommy Boy and then Black Sheep because I watched Tommy Boy with my parents and I loved it. And then I was like, oh, what's this? He's in this too. All right. And it was basically the same thing, only but for politics. And I mean, the same but completely different. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to like slight it in any way. Like, it's a masterpiece for sure. But the way it is, it's like, well, it's kind of like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, how the first one tackled like drug stuff, and then the other one tackled lawyer stuff. And it all kind of intertwines into society. So too is, I forgot what I was talking about. Jesus Christ. I lost the thread. Once I got off on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Anyways, online voting. So they're registered with ID, their email. And what happens is every time an election happens, they send out emails and with all of the candidates and the things being voted on to each registered email address. Okay, so far that's pretty simple and easy to do with any basic computer. You know, it'd be closely watched and all that, and like a very transparent. But a basic Linux box can manage like an email server, and that's actually what I'm going to be working on with some colleagues pretty soon. My one colleague, he went ham. He just built all sorts of crazy stuff, and like he's already got a few nodes set up on this network that we're building, and like we're gonna make it to where there's like educational materials. What else? Like the online voting server. Uh, Actually, let's just go ahead and go to bed. I love the lanterns, like those firefly bushes. I don't know. I feel like I could just swim this, like rather than getting the boat out. And then the whole reason I got the axe was to chop up the boat. So, but we're doing good. We're making good time. We've already explored half of the bottom row. And then, you know, we'll have a few rows back and forth, and then that's the map up into where we started out. Actually, I can go a little this way. I don't like to go too far, because then you end up with like little bits on the edge of the map like we had. And then I'll see it later and be like, ah, dang it, and I have to go all the way back down there. Just for a patch job, so. But anyway, so the email's sent out, and then the voter copies and pastes all of the email into a reply, and then erases what they don't want to vote on. So this makes it super easy to be like, okay, I voted for this candidate, this candidate, this candidate, and these bills. Nothing else. So there is no discrepancy. There is no cheating by accidentally confirming something that somebody didn't want to do, like how existing ballots have is like if you leave something blank, somebody can come in and fill it in theory, you know, however they want, and no one would be able to really tell about that. So you'd have to like, you know, factor in and make sure that that's not a possibility, you know, for the people watching the ballots and the actual voting process. Now, mail-in ballots, same thing. You get a mail-in ballot, you take off the sleeve, you record that that person sent in a vote. Yeah, that's all fine and good. But anytime after that, it could end up in the trash. It could end up in, you know, any number of places. Just knowing people, like, you know, trying to think of like making it as foolproof to where it just cannot be hacked or cannot be manipulated. And even if it does, it doesn't matter. Like, you could hack every single vote and they'll still be like, all right, we'll just fix it here. Oh, jungle. We're getting some of these trees. Or wait. Already, I think I heard a skeleton. Let's do it. Okay. I don't want to cut too many down, but I will cut a few to get some saplings. Maybe plant a couple saplings, depends on how many I get. That's assuming that I can actually make them break down, like so I'm going to have to break this one. Oh, that's a big one. I could have just chopped the big one. These are kind of finicky, too. So, anyways, and then once the vote is received, it is logged in a database that is only written to by the email server that intercepts the emails and has all of those credentials. Then once they check out, wait, I don't want this. Oh, actually, yeah. This is kind of like if I can preserve it. Okay. So, anyways, then they get sent their unique voter ID, and that's where I was talking about a hash earlier. So a hash is generated with their like first name, their last name, their email if you want. But if people are reverse engineering hashes, that could be problematic. So maybe they just want to do first name, last name, voting district. Also, I need to know that if I find a sapling. Oh, there we go. Okay, actually, technically I could be good. I got 4. Let's stick around and see if any more come down. Because 4, I'll be able to get one of those, and then once I mine that or harvest that, 5. It'd be great to get 8. There's one more there. And I want the cocoa beans. What else can I get rid of? Yeah. Oh. Okay, 6. 6, 7. It's gonna be 7 there, maybe 8. I did just chop this one down, so as long as it goes. Yep, there it's gone. I was gonna say I might need to chop that tree down. So anyways, that's it. And then you get your voter ID, then you copy that and paste that into a browser in the Control F function, and you can see what your vote says, and there you go. Now, there is a potential for somebody to manipulate how your vote shows up on your personal computer screen, but not the actual website that's being broadcast. So that's a pretty tricky hack, and like it kind of confused me how to even do that. But I mean, I don't disagree. Like that is a very valid concern. And this was also, I was discussing this with AI tools and people, and nobody could give me any real reasons not to use online voting, except for they want the vote to be private, anonymous. But even then, like if they spend enough time responding, like we worked that through conclusion to where it didn't really matter, especially when you consider that, okay, that's 8. That a third of the country doesn't even vote. So like that kind of like adds some significant relevance. Like it doesn't matter really. Like a third of this country doesn't even care. I mean, or at least doesn't even care enough to actually actively vote. But I don't know. And like, I think more people should be involved in government at all levels. And this is part of it. Like we make it exciting to vote. We can maybe even incentivize it and gamify it, like whatever. I mean, you could actually be entered in a drawing for voting successfully. Ooh, we got the melons. Oh man, this is a very awesome. All right, let's see. So we need even more stuff. Let's get rid of the flowers. Actually, we'll keep the flower. Okay. It's quite a few seeds. 12. There we go. Let's get closer to, yeah, that's fine. All right, and onward we go. So, which I suppose you could still do the other methods of voting. Like mail-in, I really like mail-in, even though like, a lot of people are worried about the fraud and they think that the election was stolen and all this and that, even though there's still no legitimate court cases proving it. And, between the fake news rhetoric and like the distrust in the courts, just because like things seem so wishy-washy and almost like whoever has the better lawyer wins, even all the way up to the Supreme Court now, which is ridiculous because it's just like with Roe v. Wade getting overturned, and I don't know, that was like a definite like, I don't know. I mean, well, without going too far into that subject, I believe in a more preventative measure of making it to where all young parents would have the ability to not only survive raising children, but thrive raising children. And then more people would do it. Like, even just haphazardly, like they would just have kids. Like, co-parenting situations are pretty nice. I mean, Like, I mean, there's some struggles, but if you do it right and if you show each other respect, it's really not all that bad. In fact, I kind of really like it. So I don't know how she feels actually. I mean, but she seems to feel all right with it. But anyways, and I feel like, as a guy, that whole jealousy thing over, my ex is getting with other guys. I don't think it would exist if ethical non-monogamy was more common, and where people would just be like, all right, you know what? Like, it's not my turn anymore to be a companion of that person, and like try not to objectify it too. Like, there's two humans in that relationship and all that good stuff. So, okay, this might actually take us a couple episodes, but that's okay because I already got enough like dishes, laundry. Figure that's good for like an hour, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. We just did about an hour plus. And actually, wait, I gotta go eat. Let me go clean up a little bit, and then I'll start on another one. But let's see, I'm gonna AFK. Oh, I'm really liking the bottom of this map. Like, it's just a lot of jungle islands. So anyways, let's finish the voting server thing, and then we'll call it a day, or an episode on this one. But not a day. We're gonna be doing a bunch of these, so... anyways, so... if everything is hacked, then the check again system checks it, and we would need to make it to where people could go to like a public viewing place. That way they could see the live results accurately, and we'd have a bunch of people confirm. Like, that would fix the issue of if somebody's personal device was hacked, and they were able to somehow manipulate the view of that. Which, again, that's really complicated. I mean, it's definitely possible, but very complicated. Like, because you're basically trying to change... Actually, I guess maybe not all that complicated, because, like, hackers already do it. To change how your HTML renders on your personal machine. They change, like, dollar amounts in bank accounts by just going into the inspect element. But that's, like, if they have control of your computer and they just open a window on another screen, then they can change like bank account amounts to something else, even though it doesn't change it up in the server where the website originated, but it makes it look like it on the personal computer. That, oh my gosh, the numbers are different. And the same concept could be applied to a voting system. But even then, like the check and check again system with multiple points of access to the website, shown in public places. You could go to the library, like, and make sure that's rendering. And then the people that are displaying it, like the official display centers or mirrors of the system that can display the results. Oh my God, no. I didn't even realize that was a thing. Hey, the ocelot. Okay. Do we get it? So anyways, there's that. And then and if every last vote was hacked, like let's just say for the sake of argument, like every single vote was hacked, then the check and check again system, they would just report it, be like, hey, it's not accurate. You need to change it to this, this, and this. And they would reply to any of the emails in that same email chain. That way the government on the other side could keep track of, okay, this person's vote was declared hacked and these are the corrections. And this could be, the only eyes that would see this are like an IT team that already do see all of your medical and personal data. Like, that's just the nature of our world. Like, there's an IT team that sees all of your stuff, all of your information, and they are sworn to secrecy, sworn to, by penalty of law, if they betray any of that and let any of that data out, it's serious business. So it's like a whole lawsuit and everything, potential jail time. If it's military data, it's definitely jail time if that gets out or there was unauthorized access. And I briefly worked in aerospace IT where that was actually a case, and I worked with governance lawyers and like people that knew the strict protocols of military data and all that. Now, I never saw any myself. And that was by design. I don't have a security clearance like at all, and I don't really want one, because then you get put on a list, and then like foreign governments like to tend to hack those lists and people on those lists, because it's pretty easy to get a copy of that list. So, okay, now what do I need to lose for this? Oh man, I have the bamboo. A stack almost. So anyways, and we'd be catching the people hacking it in real time, and the vote would only be able to be written once, like the one reply email, and that's why there's that kind of like almost blockchain-esque method of confirming that a vote happened. So you have the initial vote, and then the reply to that, or the initial email, then the reply to that email, and then the reply to the reply. It's almost like a TCP handshake that we already do in our networking for certain connections, not like UDP, which is all like the streaming stuff. That's, you know, throw a bunch of packets at the wall and hope they all stick, like that kind of thing. Whereas this would be a series of emails to where you can go back and, you know, and inspect the headers, see all the different IP addresses associated with it, and then you'd instantly have a paper trail of the hacker, or, you know, or you can confirm that it came from the voters' devices. So, but I mean, there is the potential of spoofing. There is that. So, but eventually, and there's robots on every network around the world. Like if you have a network, there's a bot on it, like most likely. So, anyways, yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a longer episode because I kind of want to get to a stopping point. But also with like explaining the logic. So, I'm trying to think back if there are any other concerns, and like, and let's just say for the sake of argument, every single vote is hacked. Then that check and check again system, everybody responds to the email and they're like, hey, my vote was changed, it needs to be this. And then worst case, if there's still a discrepancy and the check again, which I mean, at that point, there would be an error or some kind of hack regarding, oh my God, that's crazy. And I think there's still zombies chasing me, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was actually time to go to bed. I can't see because of the rain. But I'm doing pretty good about getting most of the... Oh, there's another one. Okay. It's kind of a good thing about these things is, like, they have a hard time moving through them, too. Although they're pathing, so they know, like, where to go. Like, the computer tells them. There's no real guesswork there. So, that could be dangerous. But anyways, back to the... yeah, it's nighttime. Oh, no. I never got the thunderstorms. I feel like that's just not true. Like, 'cause I mean, like, isn't this a thunderstorm? We haven't had any lightning and thunder, but as soon as it, like, crashes and it freaks me out. Not like anything, like, psychological or anything, just loud, sudden noises. It makes me jump. It startles me. There you go. It freaks me out. It's kind of like a... not the right phrase. These forests are dangerous. Oh my God. And annoying too. I think I'm doing okay with the map. That'd be cool if they coded something to where, like, even if you missed a few dots every now and then, if it was smaller than a certain size, they would just remove it for you. I would put that in the game if I was one of the Minecraft developers. Hint, hint. But anyways, no, they already do so much of this. Like, there's tons of bug fixes and updates and all sorts of stuff and all sorts of documentation on what they're doing, when they're doing it. And then you got people like Waddles, which is one of my favorite YouTubers. And he does Twitch streaming too, but I watched a lot of his YouTube videos. All right, and actually, this is probably a good place to stop. So let's go ahead and stop. We'll carry on in the next one. So ta-ta for there for now. And I guess we could go over the online voting thing again in the next one, just to be sure. But all right, see you there.